Good morning. My name is Himanshu Sharma. I would be teaching you foundation course in Front Office 1. The subject code being BSCH1003. The topic that I will be discussing today is Introduction to Tourism, Hospitality and Hotel Industry. The objectives for today's class are to be able to understand the history of tourism and to understand the tourism sector and its importance. So let's start with the basic thing, the history of travel and tourism. Now throughout history, people have needed to travel for survival, trade, conquest or curiosity. Very little is known about the prehistoric period between 40,000 BC to 10,000 BC as no written records exist. But after that period, we have records in the form of archaeological records, cave paintings, stories, epics, etc. Now, the growth of tourism can be studied under different periods. The first one is the ancient period or early civilization. Civilization developed around 10,000 BC to 8,000 BC in the Neolithic period when people began living together and developed settlement. Agriculture developed and trade began amongst various settlements. Travel on animals began and the military movement to acquire land and conquer tribes started. Journey was difficult and dangerous by land and sea. Journey was slow and time-consuming. Development during this period, that is the creation of path and mode of transportation and growth of cities near main roads, occurred. Then at the later stage, we had the imperial or the early empire period. So tourism was established during the early empires of Egypt, Persia, Rome, China, and India. Transport was made available and development of road network, highways, roads, and paths started in this period. Development of accommodation, that is sarais and inns, checkpost and chowkis started in this period. People used to travel with servants, kitchen utensils, tents, and animals. Silk Route. Now, the Silk Route was a major route for caravans carrying silk and other luxury items from China to India and the Middle East, which began as early as 2000 BC. The Kushan emperors opened and protected the Silk Roads. Movement of people from east to west to exchange silk, muslin, porcelain, tea, rice, and spices started. Indian ships left Indian ports bound for the Roman Empire. Navigation was done by stars. Rome sent back gold coins and wines. New ideas and customs were exchanged. Next, we had the pilgrimage or Tirth Yatra. for religion, belief, release from war and sickness, earn God's grace, fair and rituals. The advantages were knowledge of geography, adventure, spiritual and social approval, cultural, enhanced group and family tour. Next was the European Renaissance. It was a great cultural movement that began in Italy in early 1300 AD, and it spread to England, France, Germany, Spain, and other countries in the late 1400s and ended about 1600 AD. During the Middle Age, the Church was a patron of arts. The Renaissance, or the birth, was a period of change and the revival of Greek and Roman culture. Painters and sculptors during this period tried to give their works a spiritual quality and unrealistic human figures which represented religious ideas. The Grand Tour. In Western Europe, tours were conducted by wealthy social elite class for culture, education and pleasure, literacy, health, science and business. The impact of Grand Tour was increase in the knowledge of art, intellectual, craft and skills, social and economic status. Next we had the transition period or the industrial period. The Industrial Revolution, which occurred in the late 18th and early 19th century, was a period when major changes occurred in agriculture, manufacturing, and transportation. It started in Britain and then spread throughout the world. The first product of Industrial Revolution to affect tourism was the development of steam engine. Later, change in technology, increase in income, rapid industrialization, and professional in market helped the tourism to grow fast. British era brought much development like railways, education, adventure and leisure travel, dak bungalows and circuit houses. Thereafter we had the modern period. The development in railways, airlines, formation of Ministry of Tourism in the year 1990, government policies like LTC, etc., development of central bodies like ITDC, SITA, TAAI, and IATO. Evolution and growth of hotels in India. In 1964, the Government of India set up three corporations: India Tourism and Hotel Corporation, India Tourism Corporation Limited, India Tourism and Transport Corporation. In 1966, the Government of India merged these corporations and formed a new corporation under the name of ITDC. Many hotels opened in India like Oberoi, Welcome Group, Taj, JP Hotels, and many more. So, tourism is the temporary movement of people to destination outside the place where they normally live and work, and include the activities they indulge in at the destination, as well as all facilities and service especially created to meet their needs. And the people who move away from their usual place of work and stay for more than 24 hours and less than a year are known as tourists. So tourism market is divided into two categories: leisure tourist, that is recreation activities for enjoyment purposes. Next, we have the business tourist. Their main motive for travel is to make profit or expanding their business. Tourism is of two types: domestic tourism, that is the residents of a country traveling within the borders of that country. So say for example, any national staying in Delhi is traveling to any other state in India such as Goa or Calcutta. So that is domestic tourism. International tourism is traveling from one country to another. Taking the same example, a person staying in Delhi in India is traveling to any other country like Australia or UK. Within the international tourism, you have inbound tourism and outbound tourism. Inbound tourism, this refers to incoming tourist or tourist entering a country. Outbound tourism, this refers to outgoing tourist or tourist leaving their country of origin to travel to another country. So, let's discuss a few terms which are used in the tourism industry. The first one is visitor. Any person visiting a country other than his usual place of residence for any other reason than following an occupation from within the country visited. Next, you have the excursionist, a day visitor who stays for less than 24 hours at a place. Excursionists do not stay overnight. Next, we have tourist, a temporary visitor to a place. People who leave their usual place of residence and work to have a change from their usual routine for a short time. They stay at the place overnight, that is, for at least 24 hours. Traveler, a person who travels from one place to another, irrespective of the purpose of travel or duration of stay. Next, we have transit visitor, a traveler who passes through a country without breaking journey other than taking connecting transport. Next, we have destination, the place where the tourist travel for leisure or business related activities. There can be no tourism without a destination. For a destination to develop and sustain itself, the following 5 A's, that is the classic 5 A's of tourism, are: the first one being accessibility. It refers to transport and transport infrastructure. The second is accommodation. It refers to a place to stay. The next is amenities. Facilities available at the destination which help in meeting the needs of the tourist. Next is attraction. Reason for travel, that is natural, human-made, cultural, social. Next is activities, things to do. And lastly, affordability, that is the cost of the tour depending upon the budget of the traveler. So, tourism is made up of 5 elements: traveler generating region, transit region, tourist destination region, tourist, tourism industry. All of the above are influenced by the external environment. For reference purpose, I have jotted down a few websites, name of books, and website links for the students to access and gather additional information. Please understand that this class is not limited to the PPT that I have shared with you. For further information, you may kindly access the reference links. I hope it would be helpful to you. For any doubts, you may kindly contact me. Thank you.